everyone! Today I'm going to be doing my TBR for the Orilium Readathon, and yes, I do realize this readathon is technically like a month late. That's because I hadn't been watching a lot of booktube videos and I missed the announcement video for the readathon, so by the time I saw that video, September had already began and I had no time to actually plan out what I was reading, let alone actually take the time to vlog. Like, you don't realize how much time you need to set aside just for vlogging until you actually sit down and it's like you start vlogging and you realize that going in with no plan, you actually have nothing to fill it with. Like, I had 2 vlogs started, but nothing was going on, and I was kind of very frustrated with them. So, I'm doing this readathon in October after I've planned my TBR, after I've planned a few things out, mostly like at home things to do, simply because I can't not have something going on besides me talking about a book. Like in a 24-hour readathon, it's fine, but in a regular vlog, I feel like something else has to be going on. So I planned like a few things out, or let's put it this way. I've left things on the back burner to do during the vlog videos, even though I should have done them like weeks ago. So yeah, let's hope it all works out fine, because if not, my mental state will probably deteriorate just a little bit more. This is the current TBR. This may change, but it's very, very doubtful. Now then, talking briefly about the Orilium Readathon before I get started. So far, I love the thought of this readathon. Everything is so well done. G like surpasses my expectations every time she does readathon. But we have character, I guess you call it a character profile, character creation page. That feels like that's more what that is. Then we have the Novice Path map, and then we have the Traveler's Key that has all of the challenges on them, and then I made like my own like 1-page summary of everything I'm going to read, and then like a tracker so that I can pretty much keep myself on track to read each day. But I actually haven't done a lot of reading at all this year, so we will see how that goes. Hopefully it goes better than expected, because right now I'm actually reading a couple books that I'm really enjoying. 2 books that are actually on this TBR. Our first stop on the Novice Path and our first challenge is to read a book with a map. And I chose for that A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget. I think before I was saying Kramer and I realized there was no R in it, but it's, I think it's Kimmer. But there's the map, and this is actually a FaeElven edition of it, so it's all nice and beautiful, and I'm kind of sad that I don't have the other 2 editions like this, but at the same time they're equally as beautiful. If I'm not mistaken, you only have to read 2 books to actually complete the Novice Path, so that's not that hard, and I've set some manga for myself, so, you know, I'm gonna complete the Novice Path, like, but I kind of feel like I need to read all of these books just to feel accomplished in finishing the Novice Path, or at least half of these books. If I finish half these books, I will be, like, super happy, because, especially since I have read little to nothing this year. So our second challenge is to read a book that keeps tempting you, or top of the TBR. And this kind of fits for both, and it's A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kimmer. It's going to take me a while to say that name right without pausing, and I'm still not sure if I'm saying it right. But A Curse So Dark and Lonely, the whole series has just been on the top of my TBR for pretty much ever since the last book came out, just because I like to read complete series. So this is, and I love Beauty and the Beast retellings as well, and this is supposed to be that. I think it's like kind of loosely, like it's mostly the first book, but still, I love retellings that like take on their own life after the whole retelling part of it is no longer a thing. Okay. Next challenge is read a standalone, and I most recently actually read a Morgan Matson book for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. So I was able to get the audiobook for The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson, and I'm actually excited to read this. Yeah, I haven't I haven't read her first two books, Amy Rogers' Epic Detour and Second Chance Summer. So there's gonna be references and stuff like there was in Since New Dawn that I don't get. But at the same time, it's like I couldn't get the audiobook for the other two. I don't even know if the other two have audiobooks. I couldn't find them if they do. So this is the only one I could find. So this is the one I'm reading. And then there's dogs. I love dogs so much. The next challenge is read a book featuring ghosts/haunted houses or other supernatural elements. I honestly could not think of a book that had ghosts or haunted houses in it 100% unless it was like a children's book. So I decided to just choose A Vow So Bold Deadly for this, even though it would fit for like a couple of challenges for me. Just because it's like this completes the trilogy for me, and it has to have supernatural elements in it. If it doesn't, I am very confused. And I'm reading a book that I actually want to read, not something that I would just be forcing because of a prompt, which Ghosts and Haunted Houses would definitely be forcing me to read something I don't want to, or something that I don't even own. And I'm trying to get my TBR books off my list. I have read a couple of books on this list recently, like as in I just finished one. But pretty much all these books are TBR books. Okay, next challenge, read a thriller or mystery book. And for this challenge, I decided to read Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. I haven't heard a lot about this book, and I've honestly had it on my shelf since probably when I started BookTube. That's how long it's just been sitting there collecting dust. Not only that, the cover screams mystery/thriller, and I'm all for it. I mean, it's about this girl that gets out of rehab and then goes to, I think, a rave with her friends in the underground, and then one of her friends gets killed, and then everybody disappears, and now they're stuck there with the serial killer. And it sounds interesting enough, and I don't have high hopes for it, but I have, some mediocre hopes for it. Next up, read a 5-star prediction. And the only 5-star prediction I could give to any of the books on my TBR is Haiku Volume 38, because pretty much all of these get a 4 or 5 stars for me. So I'm pretty sure this one's gonna get a 5 stars for me. Maybe. Like, the content of it is about Fukurodani, which I love their team, and I love Akashi, so hopefully it'll be a 5 stars. I know they're going through it in this book, so have high hopes. Then the last challenge on the Novice Path is read a book with a school setting. And for this, I just decided, you know what, Haiku Volume 39. Technically, this is a high school volleyball team. It doesn't really have a school setting. They're in Tokyo. They're in the wherever I can't remember what it's called, that they do the national tournaments and everything. But the series in and of itself is a school setting. Yes, they go to other places to do tournaments and everything. Their training camps are at schools. Technically, as far as I know, they're at schools. Golden Week training camp doesn't really count, I guess, but still, like, it's technically a school setting overall, even if it's not specifically in this book. And now to get to my character creation TBR, and that is a TBR that's going to stretch into April, most likely, maybe. I've actually already finished one book and started another one on this list, so I may get them finished before I get the main TBR finished. But these are like books that I can just gradually read throughout the year with no time limits, basically. But I made a halfling character, so I have, I think, 6 prompts to complete. The first TBR, the first book on the TBR is read a book largely set in a forest/outside. And I have already completed this challenge because I read Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett, and this actually surprised me. I gave this 4 stars. It wasn't like the most mind-blowing book, and the sister in this book is the most, I want to punch her several times. Like, hold her down and just start railing on her, because she frustrates me so much, and she's so insufferable, to put it mildly. I don't like her. So besides that, and a few other little quirks here and there, it was an enjoyable read. And I actually listened to the audiobook for this, and I listened to it at double speed without having a problem. And even if I haven't been listening to it at double speed, the pacing is still really good. And the romance is baffling to me. Like, I thought it was going one way, and it was for a while, and then until something was revealed. Not, well, technically it was a plot twist, but not like a too, like, gasp-worthy, you know, plot twist, but it was a plot twist. But now, with that plot twist, the romance is completely skewed off course, and it's like, is this even possible now? So, I'm not really, I still ship it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think this is possible in this world to ever work, especially if she wants to keep her family and her life. So, I don't know, a lot could happen in the second book. The next book in this TBR is to read a book set in a city/town, and I am going to be reading volume 4 of Haiku. 40 of Haiku. Oh my gosh, there's a 0 there. This will probably lead to me just finishing the last 5 volumes in the series, honestly, because I haven't read the whole series. Like I said, all these are TBR books, so I've been putting it off until I could complete the series, and I've just been reading in like sections that I know where the anime is going to stop. So I've read where I believe season 5 is going to stop. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish all of Haiku before I read any of the rest of these books on this TBR. I may read them all before that too, because I love Haiku so much, and I just want to know what happens. Even though I know pretty much what's gonna happen, because spoilers all over Instagram, but at the same time, it's like I haven't read it with my own eyes yet. Okay, moving on. Read a dark academia book is the next challenge, and I think there's like a couple interpretations for this. Dark academia, a lot of people are seeing as a book that's very dark and aesthetic and takes place at some form of school or academy, and I think academia, you can say it either way. Point is, some people see it as a school setting, some people see it as the aesthetic. When I looked it up, it personally said aesthetic. So for that, I'm just going to be reading All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. I figure this is dark academia enough. I've actually already started. I've read the first part of it. I'm ready to dive into part 2, which is about 120 pages into the book. And so far, I still don't know where this romance is going, but I still hate the sister. So I don't think that is ever going to change. I don't think the sister could ever do anything to fix her personality to make me like her. I don't think she could physically do anything that would make me overlook her personality to make me like her. It's just, there's some people that you just can't like. And it's best just to stay away from those people, but I can't get away from her. So we're stuck just not liking her. Okay, the next challenge is read a book that features FaeElven Creatures. Right now, the only book I have on this list for that is Ghost of the Shadowhunter Market. This is the chunky book. I read just like one of the novellas for this. I'm counting it. I don't even know if there's Fae or Elven Creatures in this, but you know, it has it in the world, so I'm counting it, because literally the only thing I could think of that I actually had Elven Creatures in is the Iron Fae trilogy series by Julie Kagawa and Sarah J. Maas's books. And I personally didn't want to read either of those series because I don't want to start another series right now. The next challenge that I technically don't have a book for yet is a book with elemental magic or elemental word in the book or series title. For the last challenge, we have a book with a crow on the cover or title, or a red covered book, sorry. For that, I chose another fairy lute to read, and it's Beyond the Darkened Shore by Jessica Lakely. There's a nice big crow on the cover, and this is a standalone book, which you don't get much with fantasies, so I'm actually really looking forward to that. And this will be the first like standalone fantasy I've ever read, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it doesn't like deter me from ever picking up another standalone fantasy. Woo! So this is my TBR, minus a couple of books because I've already read them. So yeah, this is probably not going to happen just based off the fact that I have barely read anything this year. But it's nice to have goals. It's nice to have a set TBR. I haven't set a TBR for myself at all this year. This is like the first time I've done it, and it actually feels nice to have like these sets of books that I need to complete right away. It also helps that I can get the majority of these books in audiobook form, so I can listen to them while I exercise. Like, I exercise 2 to 3 hours or more out of the day, like every other day. So if like I can read an audiobook while I'm doing that, you know, it just, that little bit of reading each day, and it feels like I'm doubly accomplished. Because I tell you, it's so hard for me to stick to an exercise schedule just because it feels like I'm wasting so much valuable time. I could be doing other things, even though the exercising is for my health. It's not only to help me decrease my stress levels, but it's also just to lose weight and be healthier. And it's so hard to do that when mentally I'm thinking, yeah, I'm doing this, but there's so many other things that I need to be doing right now. This helps. It helps to listen to an audiobook and just let my mind sink into this world and not have to worry about my anxiety, except for the anxiety the book causes, just for a little bit. But yeah, that kind of got a little off track. Yeah, that's my TBR for the Orilium Readathon, and hopefully I'm able to, like I said, read about half of these books. That would make me ecstatic. Just read half of them, finish the Novice Path, then complete the entire TBR for my character creation, and just, be happy to have actually read. Because I'm going to be completely honest, that's another stress on me, is the fact that I'm so far behind my Goodreads reading goal. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!